Thanks very much.
Australia's rocky relationship with Israel will be put to the test this month as the Attorney-General heads to Tel Aviv in the hope of mending ties. For more, we're joined now by New South Wales Liberal Senator and former Ambassador to Israel, Dave Sharma. Good morning to you, Dave.
Good morning.
We don't have all the details of this trip yet, but how important is it given the current state of the government's relationship with Israel?
Well, it looks to me like it's a stunt. The government has done its utmost to damage the relationship with Israel over the last 14 months. They've taken it to depths I've never seen, and I was ambassador under both a Labor and a Liberal government. And I think Mark Dreyfus's visit, whilst it's welcome, I think is probably going to be too little and too late, especially on the eve of a federal election in Australia. I think the Israeli government will be looking to see what the new constellation is after an election before seeking to put any effort into this relationship.
I mean, when you say too little, too late, we know Benjamin Netanyahu has called the Australian government anti-Israel. He doesn't sound like someone who's looking to mend fences.
No, but you've got to remember, I mean, this comes after, 12 months. Anthony Albanese took, 6 or 8 weeks to speak to Benjamin Netanyahu after the October 7th terrorist attacks. Penny Wong took several months to visit and then deliberately insulted them by not going to the sites of the massacres in the south of the country. We've had Australia criticising Israel in every international forum whilst not calling on Hamas to release the hostages or recognising that there are two parties to this conflict.
Oh, I think they have called on for the release of the hostages.
They have called for the release of the hostages, but overwhelmingly their focus has been on Israel's conduct of the war rather than what started this war. And you've also seen, frankly, anti-Semitism reach levels we've never seen before in Australia.
Penny Wong has said that it's not anti-Semitic to expect Israel to comply with international law. She says there are rules to war. Do you agree?
I do, absolutely. I do believe Israel should adhere to the international laws of armed conflict. But I would also say that they are operating in a difficult environment where Hamas has taken hostages. They operate within civilian infrastructure. They consciously embed themselves in civilian populations, hospitals, schools. In that sort of warfighting environment, and Australia's experienced it as well in places like Afghanistan and Iraq, it can be very difficult to focus your operations solely on your targets.
We are in an election year. What do you think would be different if Peter Dutton was Prime Minister in terms of Australia's relationship with Israel?
Well, Peter Dutton would absolutely seek to restore our relationship with Israel, which is a valuable security asset for Australia, to the level it had under the previous coalition government, a healthy, productive, cooperative relationship where Jewish Australians feel safe in Australia and where we cooperate with Israel on the world stage. It doesn't mean we're going to agree on everything, but it means we will get back to an open, productive relationship.
We have seen a rise in anti-Semitic attacks in Australia. Recently, one in Sydney, some horrible graffiti on the side of cars. Do you think enough is being done to protect Jewish communities here?
No, I don't, and I think that the test of that is what we're seeing around us. We're seeing synagogues firebombed, we're seeing cars firebombed, we're seeing Jewish property vandalised, we're seeing Jewish businesses boycotted, we're seeing Jewish individual stocks. Clearly not enough is being done. And the fact that this is a focus of world attention, that people know how bad it is in Australia for Jewish Australians, tells you just how badly we failed.
All right, well, the Attorney-General is off we don't know the exact details of that trip, but we'll see how it goes. Dave Sharma, thank you.
Thanks so much, Jane.
Alex.
Thank you, Jane. Lamb, yes, is a